Cecil County and the world, and welcome to Cecil TV. Welcome to 30 at 6. I'm Rob Churnside, and today is the 23rd of July. Doug Donnelly and I went to Cecil County Fair, and you'll hear more about that in a little bit. But first, let me tell you, Cecil County Health Department, Union Hospital of Cecil County, and Cecil County's Community Health Advisory Committee have launched a Cecil County Community Health Survey. Its purpose is to assess the community's opinions on health and quality of life in Cecil County. Responses will be used to set health priorities for Cecil County and to inform the development of a community health improvement plan. To complete the survey, visit www.surveymonkey.com/r/Cecil County Community Health Survey. For paper copies, visit Union Hospital, the Health Department, or your local library branch. In anticipation of an influx of employees and commercial trucks into Cecil County, the Maryland Transportation Authority and the Federal Highway Administration are studying a potential interchange at the I-95 and Belvedere Road in the western part of Cecil County. According to the MDTA, the study will look at how to provide direct access to I-95 for the 2,500 employees and additional commercial trucks generated by future economic activity in the Principio Business Park. You can learn more at an informational public open house being held on Tuesday, July 31st from 5 to 8 p.m. at Cecil College. Elkton Gas will be utilizing a firm called Health Consultants to conduct natural gas leak detection throughout Elkton in the coming weeks. Health Consultants, their staff will drive health consultant vehicles. Throughout the inspection process, they'll carry identification badges and wear company uniforms. If you have questions regarding this activity, please contact Mr. Ed Hopp, Elkton Gas Manager of Operations at 410-441-3232. Now for some more on the fair. As I was saying, Doug and I went there today, Tuesday. We dodged the raindrops and got in a really nice afternoon at Cecil County Fair. And what we did was we saw some of the craftsmen there creating artwork and sculptures and things, and we checked out some of the livestock competition and had corn dogs, which were delicious. If you've never been to the fair, and this is my first time in 30 years, I highly recommend it. Don't let this gem go unnoticed by you and your family and friends. Check it out, especially if you've never been. If you've been, come back again. And to find out more about the fair, there was a paper, I believe, in the Cecil Whig today and previously. Check it out. Plan your events at the fair. Go to the fair and support it. And now, a word from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sam Charles. For 30 years, I have been practicing functional medicine and gentle chiropractic. Elkton Chiropractic Neurology is dedicated to enhancing whole body rejuvenation, whether or not you are afflicted with injury or disease. We utilize a structural, neurologic, metabolic, nutritional, and energetic approach to restoring your body to its full potential.
After coming to Dr. Charles, I'm better than I was before.
You deserve to feel good and to have an active lifestyle, so why not call Elkton Chiropractic Neurology today?
I'm home! Wow, it's hot in here.
Grandma says call the Moon Man.
Moon Man, the AC is out and my family is melted!
At your service! There you go! Mission accomplished!
Thanks, Moon Man!
The house is nice and cool again. Moon Man, you're awesome. You're welcome! Just go to MoonAirInc.com. For out of this world service, MoonAirInc.com.
J.C. Mitchell, in the goat event. You've had several goats already, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir, I have.
And how's it going?
It's going really well. I've had a junior champion for 4-H, and then I won the champion challenge because I won showmanship last year.
And we saw you a little bit earlier in the week on Cecil TV.
Yes.
Is everything going the way you hoped?
Yeah, it is. Tomorrow's our sheep show, and then we have the livestock sale after that. But the fair's been a blast so far, minus the rain.
Minus the rain. So all your hard work is paid off.
Yes, sir, it has.
There you have it. Thanks.
Uh-huh.
Guard your hand and runs about 2,100 degrees. Kind of hot, huh? A little bit hot. A little sweaty.
And what would this piece be?
It's just a base form. So whenever you make an object like a bowl, vase, or cup, you always make the bottom first. So right now I'm heating up the very end of it so that I can make a flat spot for it to stand up. So hopefully if I got it hot enough, there we go. Nice little flat spot.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll stand up.
About 9 years now, I believe. And just last year, this is the second year we've been doing county fairs. So this is our first year with this trailer. We just had to thank you. I always say it's almost as fun as to do as it is.
Alright, here we go.
Thank you, Ryan.
Welcome.
What is that piece? What do you call it, a vase?
Base, yeah.
All it needs now is some flour.
It looks like an exclamation point.
Well, that's an understatement because that was just phenomenal.
Oh,
Thank you. We're here with Marty, the chainsaw artist, right here at the fair. What is all these? What are you making right here, Marty? We were watching you.
This is going to be a little family of raccoons in a hollow log.
Raccoons in a hollow log, and this here is an eagle, I guess.
The case logo here, the eagle on the globe. We have a gnome. We have a Lombardi trophy with the Philadelphia Eagles on there.
All right.
And cigar store Indian wolf. We're going to have a bunch. We're trying to do 3 a day. Weather permitting, and they're all going to be auctioned off on Wednesday. And hope to see everybody there. Come on out.
Anyway, it's just one of the many things you can see here at the fair. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice job. All right. Very nice job. Thank you, everyone. All right. How about a round of applause for James and Golden Boy? All right, here he is, everyone. Who thinks this is Golden Boy's dad? Thank you. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you all for coming out to the Cecil County Fair and the running of the hot dog pig races. The reason why it only takes 1 week to train these animals is because pigs are real smart. If you take a look at the intelligence chart, you'll find that humans are number 1, minus our teenagers. Number 2 is the elephant, 3 is the dolphin, and 4 is our pigs. Now this show requires a lot of audience participation. Each and every one of you will be participating at one time or another. On your mark, get set.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, that was really good. Round of applause for Jalen. Good job. Are you ready, Jalen?
Yeah.
On your mark, get set.
Ding, ding, ding.
And they're out. The more you clap, the louder you cheer, the faster my little piggies. And our winner was the Pink Team. Good job, Pink.
And now Cecil TV would like to welcome from Soaring Eagles Toastmasters, Nick Deplitch. Nick, welcome to 30 at 6.
Happy to be here.
Hey, at my age, I'm happy to be anywhere. And I was particularly happy to go to the fair today. Tell us a little bit about Toastmasters.
Well, Toastmasters International is a public speaking and leadership organization built to help people grow their skills in public speaking and leadership.
So you joined because you had this idea one day that you wanted to do this, or?
Oh, it definitely didn't go that way. I had a terrible fear of public speaking when I was younger, and until I was about 30, I had no real desire to get over it. And well, one of my supervisors at work, I work over at Aberdeen Proving Grounds, told me that I needed better public speaking skills. I was giving a presentation for work, and it didn't go so well. I did not impress anybody with my skills. So he told me that the best thing to do is to go to Toastmasters. You get practice and experience, and then you get feedback from your fellow Toastmasters on how to improve. So I joined in 2012. I reached Distinguished Toastmaster in 2016, which is the highest honor that you can get in Toastmasters. Wow. And I've been doing it since, 6 years now. And I feel it's one of the best decisions I've made for myself to improve myself. What it really takes is commitment to just improving yourself and steady attendance at the meetings. And you got to get up in front of people and talk. And this was an opportunity that I wanted to take my first time being on camera.
Well, you're talking to Cecil County and the world right now. Don't get nervous or get stage fright.
Nope.
This is your biggest audience, theoretically.
Of course.
But you have talked to big audiences in your capacity as an engineer for APG, right?
My largest group at APG, engineering-wise, it was about 20 people, and that was the presentation I gave for my supervisors on that project that didn't go so well. Most of my groups that I talk to are smaller groups. One of my teams now, where I'm working, is 15 people, and we have a bi-weekly meeting where I'm presenting every other week with my results from my projects that I'm working on. So those go very well, much better.
So between that, Nick, and regular attendance at Toastmasters meetings, you're honing your interpersonal communication skills and your ability to, I guess, assess how people perceive what you talk about.
Right. So communication is a two-way street. You have to be able to relay a message to your audience, and your audience needs to receive it. So you have to understand what your audience is for the message that you're delivering, and how best to deliver your message for that audience.
I can't imagine any field of human interaction where this wouldn't be beneficial.
Oh, that's right. One of our Toastmasters, he's got a speech that he likes to give. Wilford Verrill, he likes to go into how every occupation needs communication skills, leadership skills. Whether you feel like it or not, there are people that are not under you receiving your reports, your information, but you have coworkers that you have to communicate to, and some of them may look to you for information or for guidance, or even for just your status with what you're doing.
Sure.
Every occupation has that, and you need to be able to communicate to your coworkers, and then you need to be able to lead them in some cases.
And there's more, right? I mean, you probably have beneficial carryover into other endeavors in your life too.
Right. For me, I'm all about influencing people, and that started with kids. I used to coach youth rugby, and sports is a different animal for me than getting up in front of people on a stage or just in front of a classroom. So recently, my wife and I, we've been helping with a Vacation Bible School at our local church. And we do the Imagination Station, which is the science portion of the Vacation Bible School. And on my own, I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I could present anything or inspire the kids. It wasn't me. But over the years, doing it, practicing it, getting skills from Toastmasters, I've been able to really give the class myself this last year. My wife was on vacation, and it worked out really well. I thought the kids really took to it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And kids, when somebody communicates to them, they retain, they give it back to somebody else. What about people, our viewers? If they were interested in joining Toastmasters, how would they do that?
The best thing to do if you are interested in Toastmasters is to go to Toastmasters International website. That's toastmasters.org. And there's a feature on the top right corner called Find a Club. Click on that, put in your zip code. and you can look for clubs that meet your schedule, whether you're available Tuesdays, Thursdays, Wednesdays, evening, lunchtime, and then your location, what's around you, so you don't have to drive an hour to go to a meeting.
Right.
Most of the meetings are an hour to 2 hours, depending on what kind of meeting it is, and the size of the meeting, how many members are in the club. My local club, the Soaring Eagles Club, meets in Perryville at 6:30 on Tuesday nights, on the first and third Tuesdays of the month.
Well, that sounds like something a lot of our viewers could really benefit from. And I thank you for being on Cecil TV, 30 to 6. Nick?
All right, thank you.
I'm Jeff Norton. This is my wife's dog, Zykees. Zykees was named by my daughter after a friend of hers. But we tell people it means always hungry in some foreign language.
And now let's welcome again my good buddy, Mike Dixon, historian, Renaissance man, and the snappiest dresser I've ever met in my life.
Well, thanks for having me again, Rob.
I'm trying to keep up, Mike.
Okay.
There's so much we could talk about in your capacity as historian for the Cecil County Historical Society. You also teach at the college. You're constantly finding out more information about our county and its history. Can we talk a little bit about the canals in Cecil County tonight?
Sure. Rob, that's the point you're making right there is so much history in this county. And whatever catches your attention, you're going to find, as you get out and around this county, you're going to find something that is just absolutely fascinating. So you mentioned the canals. Well, there was a time these canals were like really important for transportation. We didn't have railroads yet. We didn't have Route 40, divided highways and stuff like that. So in the 1820s, they will start building the C&D Canal. And on July 4th, 1829, this significant improvement will connect the waters of the Delaware and the Chesapeake. And it was July 4th, 1829 when they do it. And it's the C&D Canal. It's still with us today.
So that's when the connection was established?
That was when the connection was established. And the real advantage, I mean, if you go walk Chesapeake City these days, or walk the trail over to Delaware City, you'll see ocean-going vessels going by. You'll see tugboats from Philadelphia, Baltimore, on down the bay, and boy, you'll see a lot of recreational boaters going by. Yeah. But that waterway, 1829, what are we coming up in 200 years old? Still very important, both economically and commercially to Maryland's economy, and just as important to recreational boaters. So it's got a long history.
And it's really great to go. I like to bicycle up and down the canal. You do see so much, and boats or ships from everywhere.
So you do bike the path? Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. It's fascinating to walk. Senator Cardin was up about 3 weeks ago, Senator Cardin Trail. And he took a group along the way. It was National Trail Day, and the bikers and stuff. And as we're out there, here comes a cargo vessel across the Atlantic Ocean. I don't know where it came from, but it literally, by going through the canal, coming around Cape May and going into the canal, it saves almost 300 miles, Rob, by going around Cape Charles. So it's very significant.
That's a lot of time and a lot of diesel.
And you see the Chesapeake Inn, and you see the docks at Schaefer's, and you see how pull up, So both for our recreation and for the economy, as you said.
But back in the day, Mike, when in the early days of the canal, there was no diesel.
Right.
How did the vessels get back and forth?
Well, on July 4th, 1829, when they opened it, it was one grand celebration. You see the governors of Maryland and Delaware and the senators and militia companies were all there, and they had mules pulling them along the barge path. Think of how fast that was going, what, 2, 3, maybe 3, 4, 5 miles an hour, right?
Right.
And all along the way, they had grand celebrations marking what was just the most massive transportation improvement anybody had ever seen. Each little village, they'd stop and have a celebration. Left Chesapeake City in the morning. About the time the sun was going down the Chesapeake Bay, they were pulling into Delaware City. And they say they had one grand celebration. But it was mules and barges, just pulling them back and forth, and that's all they did.
And enough room for one barge to go this way and one to go that way.
Yeah, except in the locks. The locks were, maximum distance were 22 feet wide, so you could only put one barge through at a time. But in the canal, you could have you could pass each other, and you can imagine the celebration they had in Delaware City that night.
Oh yeah.
But the spirits really flowed there that night too.
Yes, I'm sure they did, and they still do flow down there in Delaware City and Chesapeake City.
And Chesapeake City, it's a wonderful town. Both of the wonderful towns.
So boaters, be careful as you're boating. There are treacherous waters too on the canal, aren't they?
Is that why you need to be careful?
Well, we're talking about the spirits. But I mean, you look over there, and I've been in the canal in a canoe.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And you start here, and you want to go there, but you end up maybe somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And you know, most canals, their history, their time has passed. So this one's still with us and important, and we all enjoy it and know it. So anytime you're down that way, take a walk on the trails. When you're going over the bridge, look left or right, but not if you're driving. Keep your hands on the wheel. But if you're the passenger, and you'll often see vessels come from far across the Atlantic Ocean, or a tugboat, and lots of little sailboats, especially this time of year, or other boats.
Right. Now, there's one other canal that I've seen, remnants of. It's along Route 222, coming out of Port Deposit, headed north towards the Conowingo Dam.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that canal is?
Sure. So, just like they wanted to connect the waters of the Chesapeake and the Delaware, they wanted to make the Susquehanna navigable for canal traffic, to bring down the natural resources of Pennsylvania. You think of how far that Susquehanna River goes. And it was actually older than the C&D Canal. So they built a canal, they built two canals, one on the east side of the Susquehanna, as in Port Deposit, up to Conowingo, and later on, and there's even more surviving elements of it, Rob, they built another canal that will last much longer on the western side. So if you go up past the Union Hotel on our side of the line, you'll see a couple historical markers. You can see some old locks and things, but it was to let traffic come down the Susquehanna and bypass all those rocks and very difficult navigation.
So that was why they did it.
Yeah.
For safety and convenience.
Exactly. And the problem for most of them was that as the railroad came in, they were not going to be economically viable. Because see, this is the 1820s we're talking about, like the C&D Canal. The railroad gets here in 1831. Now it's early, so it's got to grow. But you think the 1830s, 40s, and 50s, and the railroad will eventually kill it off.
And the railroads had a great impact as well.
Railroads had a great impact.
Well, maybe, I'm thinking, maybe you could come back and tell us a little bit about that one.
Well, invite me back and we'll talk about that next time.
That sounds great.
Thanks for having me, Rob. Thanks very much.